Hi, I'm Brad Sherwin, Technical Agronomy and Data Analytics Lead for Landis Cooperative, and welcome to the Agronomy Minute. Farming is all about risk and reward. Each year you invest money in rent or land payments, seed, herbicide, insecticide, fungicide, and fertilizers. Our job is to help you navigate all the decisions you need to make so you come out ahead financially. Now in today's episode we're going to talk about iron deficiency chlorosis in soybeans. Now, iron deficiency chlorosis is caused when plants can't take up a usable form of iron from the soil. It's very rarely caused by an actual shortage of iron, but rather the form of iron present. In higher pH soils, iron is typically found in the ferric form, which is expressed as Fe3, and in lower pH soils it's in the much more usable ferrous form, which is expressed as Fe2. Now, the basic explanation of this is that molecules can have different oxidation states, and in the case of ferrous versus ferric, the molecule is more able to share electrons in various bonds. In other words, due to its higher propensity for sharing electrons to form bonds, ferric iron is more readily tied up by other molecules in high pH situations as they have fewer free electrons. Now, soybeans can typically overcome this by excreting acids from the roots in order to increase the solubility of the ferric iron so they can more readily take in the nutrient. Soybeans also excrete reductant to convert ferric iron into the ferrous form to allow the plant to use it. However, these acids can basically be blocked or neutralized by high calcium carbonate or free lime levels in the soil as well as bicarbonates. Bicarbonates are directly tied to the buildup of carbon dioxide in the soil, which is accentuated in wet or saturated soils. High soil nitrates can also exacerbate IDC. Now, in areas where drought was more pronounced, higher nitrate levels are common. Dry conditions allow soluble salts to make their way up into the root zone, and with no rain to essentially flush them back down, soil conditions conducive to IDC are created. So what can be done in these areas to help alleviate the effects of IDC? First and foremost is improved drainage. The reason drainage is so important is that it allows for the proper aeration of the soil. Getting rid of excess water helps reduce bicarbonates by allowing the carbon dioxide produced by the roots and soil microbiome to escape into the atmosphere. Over time, proper drainage can also reduce the overall pH of the soil, which not only helps with the availability and solubility of iron, but many other nutrients as well. Soluble salts will also be reduced in time as they will eventually leach out with excess water through the tile lines. This is a long-term solution to the underlying cause of IDC. Now in the short term, the best management practices are variety selection, reducing compaction as much as possible, and the use of chelated iron in furrow. Now first, variety selection. IDC scores are major criteria in breeding programs. Seed companies that market to known IDC areas tend to spend quite a bit of time looking at how varieties perform in known IDC conditions and try to make the best recommendations. The use of chloride excluder genetics can also help, but keep in mind that salt damage and IDC are not the same thing, although they can coincide. And just because an excluder doesn't mean that variety is good in IDC. Second, compaction. Simply do the best you can to stay off these areas during wet conditions. Reducing compaction is important for two reasons. First, you want to make sure the roots are not impeded in their growth, and second, reducing compaction leads to a reduction of other plant stresses such as root and seedling diseases. Now lastly, chelated iron in furrow. Now this has been proven over the last few years to help reduce loss in moderate to high IDC pressure areas. Look for a product that's an orth-orth chelation, as that process has had the most consistent response. Use rates are typically in the 2 to 4 pounds per acre range. These management practices will help reduce the impact of iron deficiency chlorosis, but if you really want to do the best job managing IDC, the long-term solution is to improve drainage, lower pH, and do everything you can to ensure there are no nutrient deficiencies or plant stressors. That's all for today's episode. Thank you for taking time to watch our video. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon to get notified when we post our next video. And lastly, hit that thumbs up so we can bring you more agronomic content. We really appreciate it.